to hand it over to DylanJayFox and to RandyBobandy, who are going to, well, I guess Dylan is going to be running Spyro 3 Bone Dance, and Randy will be handling the commentary on that. Best of luck to Dylan. Luck.
Well, I'm Dylan. Hi. I'm here with Randy. We're gonna do Bone Dance in SRT 3. It's actually a really cool run. It's almost like a modified version of the 8% route that we do. With some exceptions, we do a couple of different things, but I'll let Randy handle the commentary for that for the most part, and I'll just be filling in the blanks, more or less. So, Randy, how are you? How you feeling this late into the event?
I'm hogging right now. I'm up here. You can't see it, but I'm holding my hand up here. I'm up here. I'm excited. I'm excited for this run.
Oh.
We're vibing.
That's fair.
What's that background picture?
It's the TARDIS. It's Matt Smith's TARDIS from Doctor Who. Yeah, that's Pog. That's super cool.
I never watched Doctor Who. Stop yelling at me.
How could you? All right, you wanna?
I'll give you a countdown.
All right.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So, arguably, the worst part of running Reignited Spyro 3 is the amount of cutscenes at the beginning of the game. I guess in Spyro 3 in general is you have to skip a lot of cutscenes to actually get into the game. So to start off, we have to just skip 3 cutscenes in a row, and it's pain, if you will.
Another thing that also sucks about these cutscenes in particular is that you can't just like spam them, because what happens is if you spam them, you'll sometimes get like a visual bug where you will just see a black screen. So you have to actually, if you like get kind of where you kind of aren't seeing things but you're hearing things, you have to let the last cutscene play, which might, lose you a little bit of time. Yeah, so getting into Sunrise, I get pretty quick run because you only have to get, kind of similarly to the OG one, all we're really focused on is getting to the end of the levels. The main biggest difference is that we don't have access to any portals early like they do in OG. So we have to get 14 eggs to open up Seashell, which is the last level that we're going to do. Or it's not the last level, but it's the last like egg requirement level that we're going to do.
Yeah. Which is like, you kind of want to peter out how you're getting eggs as well as when you're getting gems in this category. Because as anybody who's played through Spyro 3 knows, you actually need to do each of the levels in each of the homeworlds, aside from Midnight Mountain, to progress to the next homeworld. So since we're trying to get to Mid-A, we need to do all of the levels, at least in some capacity, and complete them. Because of that, we actually need to unlock Sheila's Alp, which is a pretty awkward level to get to in this category. Because you want to get to 300 gems, between the time of the beginning of the run and when you get to when you get out of Cloudy Spires, and when you go through like a little tunnel to go get the egg. I believe it's called Amy is that egg. So deviation in the route that we do that I've recently started doing, I didn't do it before, is you actually guidebook to Sunrise Spring. For some reason my charge button just did not want to work there. And you'll get like an extra 10 gems by going this way. And as much as like 10 gems is kind of like, oh, whatever, it's like hugely valuable in this category. Cause like I said, you want to get to 300 by the time you're roughly out of Cloudy Spires. So pretty much come over here, talk to Hunter, start his mini game, and then he'll stand outside of Cloudy Spires after you come out of it, and then just head into Cloudy. Go ahead, Randy. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just going to say that, yeah, basically there's about 34-ish gems in like the tunnel to get to that last egg before doing Sheila. So you want to be at around 260-ish, and you can pick some extras here and there, but the gem routing in this run is just so tight because it's just so, for whatever, it's like a 9 or so minute, 10 minute like loadless category, so it's just so optimized for all the gems. And you see something that happens on PC and a little bit on console. You can actually do that jump that Dylan just did, where he kind of was gliding against the wall. So on SRT, we can actually gain height on walls rather. But console can't gain height, but they can maintain height. But we're on PC, so that jump is ridiculously easy.
Yep. It was actually a reasonable Cloudy Spires. The only thing you saw me mess up in it really was the initial jump where you do like a little wall glide to hop up into where the whirlwind is. That wall glide I find to actually be more challenging than the wall glide that you were talking about, Randy, where we glide over towards like the egg and that set of gems.
Yeah.
A lot of what this run is, like I said, it's very comparable to any percent in a lot of ways, where you run through like levels in a very similar fashion, but you basically just cut out a lot of things and do a little bit more guidebooking overall. Which, most notably, I actually probably will forget the guidebook after Sheila's out because I'm notorious for forgetting the guidebook in levels. A nice 300, perfect gemming. Head up to Amy. Pick up the egg, and that puts us at 7. So to get into Molten Crater, we want to get to 10. So pretty much, we're going to buy Sheila and do all of the eggs in this level. There isn't really too much to Sheila, if I'm honest. So it's kind of a good buffer zone to talk about different aspects of the run, the history of it. If you want to, Randy.
Yeah, pretty much for like most of the history that I really know about it was like obviously Wed had the world record for a long time. Then it was Dr. House because Dr. House is a beast at own dance runs and a lot of the miscellaneous categories, as well as most of the main categories. But it actually, I believe, currently has a different world record holder, which is Surf, and it all happened because of a proxy that got found. A couple weeks ago, I believe it was found by Groxu in Enchanted, where it kind of skipped doing a bunch of the jumps, or one of the jumps rather, which saved like a bunch of time. But the thing with like this routing is that the gem routing, like I said, is very, very optimized because like after this point we don't need any. We only needed the 300, but you see the difference in the guidebooking out to get those 10 extra gems. So instead of having to scramble and pick up a bunch of 2s and 1s, you had that little bit more to be a bit, what's the word I want to say? Like,
Optimal?
Optimal and just like, didn't really, like you were over gemmed like a tad because you didn't have to go get those other, like, maybe possible worse gems that aren't as good.
But in terms of like the actual routing though, what we had done there is, I forgot the guidebook like I just said before. I forgot the guidebook out of Cloudy, or too Cloudy rather. The reason why you do that is it actually saves like about a second if you guidebook to Cloudy then exit level versus just exiting Sheila. It's not too big a deal. Like I said, loses about like a second. Loadless, which is what we measure the category by, but it's not really that deep. I'm not too worried about missing it. But yeah, like Randy said, getting those gems, like I technically was a little overgemmed, but in all honesty, it's really, by doing those extra 10, like you don't really get overgem per se, in the sense of like, you could technically skimp on a couple of gems here and there, compared to what I did get. But like most of what I got, I would say is relatively optimal gems. Because by doing the guidebook to Sunrise at the beginning, you don't lose any time to just doing another wall glide up towards where Cloudy Spires is. You actually, it about breaks even. As far as Toasted Cat mentioned to me, he actually timed it. Molten Crater is kind of a basic level.
Only get 2 eggs in Molten Crater.
Yeah, you don't do anything in this level.
You just get the 1 egg that's on the ground, and then you get the end of level. Because that puts us to 13, and then we're going to get the 1 egg right before Seashell, and that puts us to 14. We're just getting through these levels very, very, very quickly. That's truly just what you want in such a short category like this.
Bonking on these stairs. The hardest part, the 2 hardest parts of Molten Crater are genuinely, after you get the first egg and you do like that turnaround, where I hold down and left on the D-pad, jump and then glide and then flame at the same time, and then you get an auto hover onto the ledge, and then you also hit the guy with the whip as well. That guy will almost always hit you if you aren't doing those inputs. So if you ever do try to run this category or any percent, I really recommend just using those inputs. And then the second hardest part is probably actually climbing the stairs for me. I just struggle with stairs. Shout out to my 14 tally runs.
What? Oh no.
All right, we pick up Bruce in the water, though we get our 14th egg, and then we head into Seashell Shore, which is our last non-boss or enchanted level in the run.
In this level, basically the idea with this level, like I said, or like Dylan and I have been saying, we just are essentially getting to the end of the level, because that's what you need to progress to Enchanted, or to the next homeworld, to Buzz, really. And through this level, there's actually a kind of out-of-bounds clip that we can use, kind of using a similar thing to if you ever watched like a 2-any run where they use like a turtle to clip out of bounds, we're using a barrel when we have some iframes from taking damage.
Yep, and you also use that same clip in 3-any as well, but you would actually go towards the portal on the right, which is where Sheila is. I think I'm not gonna go for the little Stanley skip, by the way, because I don't want it to glitch out and soft lock me.
Oh no.
Have you had that before? So basically, what you can do is you can hold up, and as Spyro's coming out the portal, he'll like fall over the ledge of it if you press A at the right time. But if you mistime it, he'll clip the edge of it, and it actually just soft locks your game. So I'd rather just talk to Snappy here and kind of just take like it's about, I think, 2 seconds of time loss roughly. And we'll just head to Midday Gardens, kind of a little bit of a slower, but a little bit less risky way, because again, just don't want to soft lock. I love you too, boy.
There's actually a very good clip on my YouTube channel, if I can get a quick plug before Buzz starts, where Dylan tried to do that, and then the water went all crazy because I made a jank compilation of stuff from SRT. So if you're interested in a bunch of jank, it's like a 30-minute video of all the clips that we could get. Every single game.
It's actually a really funny video. You can see like a lot of, like, people talk about how broken SRT is or how well made it is. That video is like a perfect capture of that like ideology, because it really is a very well put together game, if you will. I believe the phrase is put together with bubble gum and duct tape or something like that.
So with Buzz, the kind of idea is that if you stand in the right spots, he won't hit you, or you can kind of jump off and kind of glide to avoid his attack. What a lot of runners do, and what you've seen Dylan do, is actually take damage from he basically has 3 phases, where the first 2 hits are he doesn't put up a firewall, the second 2 are that he puts up a firewall, and then the last 2 are he puts up a firewall but then he shoots. So we're actually going to see Dylan try to, charge him at the right time, just so he doesn't take any damage from Buzz, and he does it. This fight is a bit risky because you can sometimes take like phantom damage from him.
I don't know what just happened.
Don't exit level.
Imagine I exit level there. I was gonna say that's the risky part, and if you noticed, I went on blue sparks, and I took the 2 damage abuses, meaning I was on no sparks. But by the time phase 3 came around, and if I did take a phantom hit, I would have had to restart Buzz, which would have led to a lot of tears coming from my eyes had that happened. But thankfully it didn't, and we're on our way to Midday. Ooh, that's a bar. Hold on, where's Deo at? I need to put that in the next Deo Man song. Shout out to Deo Man, my boy.
So Dylan's gonna be skipping Bianca there if he just kind of tried to jump out, and we don't want to talk to her, so.
Yeah, kind of cute, but listen, we're not looking for cute, we're looking for speed.
We're looking for dancing, we're not looking for talking.
Exactly. Now, we're heading into the actual level where we get to do Bone Dance. So like everything else was kind of just a prelude, if you will. And like, honestly, compared to SRT 2 Bone Dance, I actually think this Bone Dance is far superior, if only because of the level.
I think
you still need to do a comparable amount of setup.
I believe, to me, the thing that makes this Bone Dance quite interesting as like a theory is that normally, and if you're in chat saying like, Randy, Dylan, you're normally supposed to do Bone Dance with Sergeant Bird, and you're not getting Sergeant Bird. It's because we can actually get through like kind of pretty good jumps and pretty like interesting like pixels, we can actually get every single bone without needing Sergeant Bird. Unfortunately, Dylan having some trouble with this kind of first bone.
I am having a howler, if you will. Absolute howler.
Should have done the proxy that you obviously know how to do.
Yeah, I definitely learned it. So a lot of what this like the appeal to this category was when I first learned it from me was it's a lot of reasonably challenging platforming accompanied with like, you know, it's Spyro 3 any percent, which was kind of my bread and butter for quite a while, or as like speedrun categories go. So right now we're gonna wait around for one of the drakes to come around to hit me for a damage boost, and if we don't get the damage boost, we're crying in the club. All right, we're not crying in the club, we're pogging.
Yo, we're pogging in the club. Let's go, baby.
Can I get some pogs in the chat for that? That's actually like, you have no idea how stressed I was about that one damage boost. I wasn't stressed about the first jump. Oh,
it's a little spooky.
It's a little finicky. Sometimes it just chooses not to work, essentially. It feels like you can time it correctly, and it just doesn't want to work. But thankfully, we did get to work. I'm actually pogging out of my mind.
Yeah, the last, like, honestly, to me, it seems that the first, like, 2 bones are obviously, I think, the most difficult, and then the rest is decently, like, easy, but you can't, like, slack with these last couple, because there's, like, some decently tight jumps, like the one that you saw him to get the, I believe it was the 5th bone, was, like, if you mess up there and die, like, you have to go back a long distance. And there we go, there's all 8.
All right, and now we get to watch what everyone came here for. They came to watch my boy. He's just gonna floss. Not seeing enough movement. Chat.
Timing ends after the screen fades away, by the way.
Yeah.
I can call it if you want. Cool.
I'll call it, don't worry.
Okay.
My boy. And time. I'm gonna be honest. This is my 3rd Spyrothon run, and I was concerned this would be the 3rd consecutive run where it goes over estimate. But thankfully, for the first time, it didn't, and I'm pogging out of my mind. And that was actually like a decent show of the run, because I think the only thing that we really hiccuped on really hard was the first jump, which genuinely isn't that hard, but I made it look a lot harder than it is. But honestly, I'm super happy with that run. I'm very happy with that run.
I am glad to hear that, Dylan, because that was a solid run, an entertaining run, and I personally loved it.
Thank you, Tuber. Love gamer.
And shoutouts to Randy, who also gave amazing commentary that I must compliment.
Thank you. Yeah.
Shoutouts to Randy.
Before we head on to our final run of the night, are there any shoutouts you guys like to give?
I'll go if you don't want to right now.
Hey, go ahead. I'll leave.
Honestly, I'm just gonna give a shout out just in general to the Spyro community, just because like it's been about just a little over a year since I kind of joined and started running, and it's just been amazing the amount of like really good people and really awesome like I said, just the people, the friendships, the like events that we've put on for the past year, and just every experience that I've had has been largely positive with everything. Like, it's just an awesome community to be in. If you're not in the community, if you're just watching, join the Discord, run, whether it's fucking SRT, whether it's OG, whether it's Hero's Tale, whether it's like any of the GBA games, like fucking join. And shout out to Dylan. Yeah. Dylan's the boy.
Reasonable. Of course, shout outs to Randy on the commentary. It was great to have you. It was really, like I said in the call beforehand, it was just nice to have somebody with me. Just nice to have like you kind of cool my nerves, you know. I feel like I did good because of you were here, just to kind of, like I said, cool me off, make sure I wasn't too hot on it. And shout outs to Doja Cat. What?
Yo.
I said, am I interrupting something here?
We're having a moment. If you want to wait,
I'm saying it's Dylan cute.
Randy, I'll call you later. Don't worry. I'm gonna give you a little, give you a little ring. Anyway, I'll let you move on. We'll get into this next intermission. I assume I'm holding you up, Tooper.
No, you're fine. But what we
Okay.
are trying to get to the final run of the evening, which is gonna be Noah Spell
by the
doing Spyro OG Vortex.
Yes, sir.
what? Watch Kung Fu Panda, everybody. By the way.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Jack
Alright.
Black, classic. All right, we'll be right back with Nova and Vortex in a minute.
See you guys in a bit.